Welcome back to the Great Green Home Show. We are continuing our guest segment. This segment is sponsored by MyEcoAgent.com.
Thank you.
And we are speaking with Sarah Endline, who is the founder of Sweet Riot Chocolates, based out of New York. And you were just telling us about how you discovered effectively your first cacao bean. Tell us about that.
So I'm wandering through the Green Festival, and
in San Francisco. It's a suspect story.
In the fall of 2004, and that's really where the Green Festival started. So it just brings out an amazing group of people, and someone there had the cacao bean, and I thought, how can I be looking at the chocolate and candy industry, and I've never even really held this in my hand. This is what's real. This is what chocolate really comes from. And I brought that bean home and said to my friends, I want to do something with this bean. And they kind of said, you're crazy. When you eat the bean directly, it doesn't taste as much like chocolate, and it's kind of bitter, and it just isn't that thing you expect from chocolate. And so people just said to me, you're crazy. I mean, what are you thinking? But I couldn't, sometimes people say to entrepreneurs, when you start dreaming about the idea and you can't let it go, it's really something you should pursue. And I couldn't stop thinking about the cacao bean. And I really felt like I had to create a product around it. And right around that same time, I went and met with a manufacturer in Switzerland, and they made, rectangular 3-ounce chocolate bars for a bunch of different people. And they said, hey, send us your wrapper design, and we'll make your chocolate bar too. And I left that meeting, and I thought, that's not innovative. That's not authentic. That's not taking people back to what's real about this whole thing. And that's really where this idea started to come about of, let's take the cacao bean, also known as the cocoa bean, break it into small pieces, cover it with a layer of chocolate so there's a more pleasurable taste, but let people actually eat that bean. Let them have the crunch of it and the experience of it, and even the conversation of, wow, this is where chocolate comes from. And I wanted to create that, I called it very early on, I still do, create that aha moment when you crunch into the cacao nib, which is a little piece of the cacao bean, and go, wow, this is where chocolate comes from. And then you can start to have that conversation of, it comes from a fruit tree, this is the bean inside, and really educate people about the true origin. And that's what Sweet Riot's been committed to doing from the very, very beginning.
And now, doesn't this bean have, in its form that you're presenting it, doesn't it? The Aztecs we talked about drank basically a hot chocolate out of it, but didn't it have some really good physical effects? Isn't it really good for you in a certain way that chocolate isn't?
This is what's amazing. Cacao is a superfood. It's full of antioxidants. It's a natural aphrodisiac. It's a natural mood stimulant. It's a natural appetite suppressant. It's something that certainly dating back to Aztec times was used in rituals, used for medicine, used in social gatherings, used in romance. I mean, that is actually the history and the reality.
Send us a box now.
And
Make it a carton.
What time is Whole Foods open till?
Somebody run to Whole Foods right now.
So when
SweetRiot.com.
When I found, that bean, for me it's magical. It's more magical than the chocolate bar. The bean is the essence of it all. And it does certainly give you those natural, healthy benefits. And that's why, I'm a huge advocate of eat cacao directly, eat the bean directly, eat incredibly dark chocolate with high cacao percentages, because that's where the health benefits come from, and that's where you're actually getting the pure taste of chocolate, not the mass market artificial taste.
Now, are you wrapping your bean bits in what's most of us would consider a more standard dark chocolate bar?
We are wrapping it in a layer of dark chocolate, so
Okay.
they're really almost like chocolate Tic Tacs.
And what's the
Tic Tacs?
what's the in the dark chocolate wrapper, as it were? What is the percentage of?
We only use super dark
So
at
like
Sweet
85?
Riot. So we actually have 3 different layers. So imagine the beans at the center, so you've got 100% dark chocolate.
Right.
And then we've got one which is our sweeter dark, which is a 50% dark on the outside.
Okay.
One which is our classic dark, which is a 65% dark.
And you get
And
72?
then we've got a 70% dark on the outside, which is more of our kind of mocha dark. And so
That's-
Sweet Riot only makes intense dark chocolate, because of our commitment to the purity of where chocolate really comes from, and also just all the wonderful magical health benefits when you're eating what's real.
Yes, actually did a little research on this, and it does have a great effect on your vascular system. Gets it flowing and glowing. A wonderful thing. We want to get right to fair trade. We want to talk about fair trade, and I know that you had some stuff to say about that and how that affects your business and other people's business. Talk about fair trade a little bit.
Yep. So the Sweet Riot product is what we advocate is something called Equitrade, where you're actually not only sourcing the beans in Latin America, but actually producing the product, at a place of origin near the farms where the product actually comes from. And so this is actually a term that comes out of the UK, and it also relates to this concept of trade, not aid.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, rather than extracting all of these wonderful kind of things from the developing world and send them all to the factories of Europe and North America, how do you actually try to create something end-to-end in the southern hemisphere? How do you actually try to support not only farmers that are picking the fruit and drying the beans, but also support the workers that can help you create products? And that's really kind of our method, and that's what we try to do, is more of an end-to-end approach.
So it's kind of like fair trade on steroids.
It's funny. Someone else has said that before. You're not the first.
Or fair trade on cacao.
I'm not testifying.
On cacao
I never took
steroids.
it.
On cacao steroids.
I thought it was
natural
B12.
steroids, the
I'm
natural
sorry.
sterols that come out in the cacao plant.
Exactly.
Outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Maybe
Sarah,
the baseball players should start eating cacao.
I was, great minds think alike.
I
was
never
already
took
there with
cacao.
you.
My
I have
trainer
never
gave me
taken
cacao.
any performance
I thought it was
enhancing cacao.
water. I had no idea.
I'm in New York. I could reach out to the Yankees.
Oh, they're going
You could reach out and touch the Yankees and just move one borough to the left, actually to the right, but who's counting? Sarah, SweetRiot.com or SweetRiotChocolates.com?
SweetRiot.com, and that's partially because we're committed to more than just chocolate. It's really a celebration of life. It's a sweet riot. It's, all those good things.
140 calories a package, too. I got to tell you, this is a great product.
Sweet,
Absolutely.
SWEET.
Can you tell we're leaving the planet now? We're ready to go?
.com. Do you have a toll-free number if somebody has questions or?
We don't have a toll-free number. I guess that's the beauty of a startup. You don't always have that.
SweetRiot.com.
But we respond to all inquiries.
Okay, now you have a way to correspond via the website?
We have a cell number.
Absolutely.
Okay. Outstanding.
No,
And we
we're
can
kidding.
find you in Whole Foods, Pier 1. Talk about some of the other stores you're in.
Whole Foods, Pier 1, Balducci's, SweetRiot.com has a store, natural specialty retailers around the country.
Excellent. Sarah, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
our guest today. We need
We're
to thank
running
our
out right
sponsors,
now.
Option Insurance Group, MyEcoAgent.com, SunTrust Mortgage, CMI Electric, and
See SunTrust next week?
Energy Services Group. Have a good week, everybody.